Assalamualaikum and welcome to the first ever video on my YouTube channel, Mysterious. Today we will be talking about a case that is deeply disturbing and tragic. Please be advised that the details of this case are intense and graphic. So viewer discretion is strongly advised. Without further ado, let's begin. Zulfarhan Osman bin Zulkarnain was born on November 29, 1996 in Johor Bahru, Malaysia. As the eldest of four siblings, he naturally took on a role of responsibility in his family. His family actually described him as a soft-spoken, well-mannered young man and someone who was kind-hearted and dedicated to his studies. Actually, after completing his diploma at University Tun Hussein on Malaysia, Zulfarhan pursued his ambition to become a naval officer by enrolling at the National Defence University of Malaysia, or people call it UPNM. So he decided to study electrical engineering while also training to be a naval cadet officer. So initially, Sophan's mother was against the idea of him joining UPNM. She had concerns partly because of her late brother's experience at the university. She knew how demanding and strict the institution was, and she worried about Sophan being away from home for a long period of time, making it difficult for them to stay in touch. However, after much discussion and seeing her son's determinations, and she eventually gave her blessing, understanding that it was something Sophan's had dreamt of. But Sophan's future at UPNM would be cut short in the most horrific way because on May 20, 2017, one of the cadets, Muhammad Zohairi Asmal, 51, reported that his laptop had gone missing. Unable to find it, another cadet SB-25 suggested turning it to a traditional healer known as a bomo to locate the missing item. So this healer was believed to have spiritual powers that could reveal the truth about the laptop disappearance. And based on the statement made by the bomo, he mentioned that in his dream, Zulfarhan was the one that stole the laptop. But Zulfarhan denied any involvement in the theft of the laptop. So the situation escalated quickly, and on May 21, 2017, Zulfarhan was taken from his room in the middle of the night by OKT1, which was Muhammad Akmal Sohairi bin Azmal and other cadets. So they brought him to a room in the Jebat hostel in UPNM, where they beat him relentlessly. Zulfarhan was stripped down to just his boxers and was repeatedly punched and slapped. And despite his pleas that he had nothing to do with the missing laptop, they did not stop. The abuse continued on to May 22nd, 2017, where they took the torture to another level. At around 1 a.m., Zulfarhan was once again brought to room 0410 in the Jebat hostel, where he was tortured by groups of cadets including OKT1, OKT2, OKT3, and others. They ordered him to strip off his pants, leaving him in nothing but his boxers, and began to take turns beating him. But the violence didn't end there, as one of the cadets, OKT6, named Abdul Hakim bin Muhammad, brought in a hot steam iron and ordered the others to burn Zulfarhan with it. This happened between 4:45 a.m. to 5:45 a.m. They pressed the iron onto his body, causing him excruciating pain, and Zulfarhan screamed in agony as the steam iron burned his skin, covering his body with horrific injuries. So the burns were severe. Zulfarhan suffered 59 second-degree burns 29 third-degree burns, and his body was covered in approximately 80% of burns. Some of his injuries were so bad that they affected his genitals, and despite this, no medical help was sought, and he was left to suffer in silence. And while Zulfarhan got beaten up, actually one of the cadets decided to send out surat layang to one of their officers, but to no avail, no action was taken, and tons of cadets heard about the surat layang and even OKT themselves, and that is why they decided to transfer Zulfarhan to another place where they trying to get Zulfarhan away from any attentions whatsoever. On May 26, 2017, in an attempt to hide the abuse and prevent anyone from finding them out, the cadets moved Zulfarhan out of UPNM into a hotel in Bangi. His condition continued to worsen, but still, no one tried to get him the medical attention he needed. And on May 29, 2017, the cadets actually finally took him to a clinic, but of course the staff was shocked at the extent of his injuries. So Farhan was covered in bruises and burns, and the doctors immediately questioned the cadets about how did he got hurt this badly. However, the cadets actually intervened and spoke for him, making sure that no one would learn the truth. So Zulfan's mother, Hawa Osman, had actually called her son during this period of time, and she immediately noticed something was wrong with his voice, of course. And Zulfan actually tried to reassure her, telling her that he was fine, but she could, of course, sense the distress in his voice. He didn't want her to worry, so he actually avoided revealing the truth about the torment that he was actually enduring. It was clear that Zulfarhan was actually trying to protect his mother from the horrifying reality of what was happening to him. And on June 1st, 2017, Zulfarhan was rushed to Sedang Hospital where he was pronounced dead due to the extensive burns and physical injuries. His parents, upon arriving at the hospital, were of course devastated by the condition of their son's body. The hospital staff immediately called the authorities, and the police began an investigation into the circumstances surrounding his death. So the investigation revealed the full extent of the abuse Zulfarhan had suffered. The cadets responsible for his torture were identified as OKT-1 Muhammad Akmal bin Azmal, OKT-2 Muhammad Azamuddin bin Ahmad Safi, OKT-3 Muhammad Najib Muhammad Razi, OKT-4 Muhammad Alif Najmuddin bin Azhar, OKT-5 Muhammad Shori bin Sabri, and OKT-6 Abdul Hakim bin Muhammad. They were charged with manslaughter and sentenced to 18 years in prison. However, the case did not end there. Recently, in 2024, the case was reviewed and the Court of Appeal ruled that the evidence was sufficient to charge the cadets with murder under Section 302 of the Penal Code. The sentence of the six main accused were increased to death by hanging, while others involved in the abuse, others OKTs, were sentenced to a longer prison terms, but the legal battle was far from over. The accused still had the chance to appeal the decision in the federal court, and they could also seek clemency through the pardon board. So this case actually also highlight a disturbing trend in 2024 where another bullying case occurred at the same university, UPNM, showing that there was no changes happen at all, even though the case had happened just years ago. So this actually, of course, sparks outrage and media social where tons of netizen comment like, did the university change anything about what had happened? And that marks the end of today's case. Please be sure to help those who are in need and those that you know being bullied off. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and be sure to stay safe and goodbye.